Welcome to the 2025 Cullman Political Candidate Forum. Good evening. My name is Tommy Warhurst from Cullman's Live 95.5. On behalf of our radio station, WCQT TV, our staff, and the community, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Cullman Community Candidate Forum. You can listen to this tonight on Cullman's Live 95.5's FM in our Facebook page, as well as you can watch it on WCQT TV and the All About Cullman Facebook page. This evening, we're going to discuss topics both submitted by listeners and topics we've seen take interest in our community over the last several months. If time allows, at the end of our questions, we may take some questions from folks here in the audience as well. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an introductory statement. After introductions are complete, we will select a question. Each candidate will then be given 90 seconds to respond to that question. If a candidate is directly referenced in an answer, that candidate will then be given 30 seconds to respond. To allow our candidates to mentally prepare for the questions that we are going to ask tonight, they will come from these broad topics: local economy and jobs, public safety and law enforcement, infrastructure and growth, education, and community services. We expect the forum to last about an hour. However, at the end of an hour, we may continue to go longer if we've not exhausted all of our questions and the candidates want to go longer. Finally, at the conclusion, each candidate will be given 90 seconds for a closing statement. We do ask for these guidelines as we work through our forum tonight. Please, no personal attacks or negative campaigning during the forum. We'll enforce time limits, of course, for fairness. We do reserve the right to control our format and maintain an order of respect. And now we'd like to thank our broadcast partner, WCQT TV. You can, again, watch this on Channel 25 or Spectrum Cable Channel 16. Would also like to thank Julie Burks of the museum here, our local park and rec and local government for allowing us to utilize the facility here and to help promote something that we should all be excited about this year, and that is America's 250th birthday celebration and the Cullman Semi-Quincentennial. You'll hear us reference that several times during the broadcast tonight. Now let's get started with candidate introductions. To figure out who goes first, I'm going to ask you all to think of a number. Don't tell us your number just yet, but think of a number in your head, and whoever gets closest to the pre-selected number will go first, and then we'll work from that candidate's right around the room. So let's now... The range will be from 0 to 100. And I guess let's just start here with your number. Okay. Closest without going over, just like Wheel of Fortune? All over there. Yeah, it's not Wheel of Fortune, it's Price is Right. Thank you. Kim, the number was 73, and we chose 73 because Cullman was founded in 1873 by John G. Cullman. Again, Live 95 and WCQT TV are presenting the forum as part of our community and Cullman's quincentennial celebration. An interesting fact to share, our country's flag was used. The first flag was the Continental Union flag. Our current flag was brought to service on July 4th, 1960, and is 65 years old this year. Would like to remind you that you can learn a lot about our community here tonight at the forum, and also anytime here at the Cullman County Museum. And so since you were closest without going over, we'll start with you, introductions, and we'll go to your right.
Thank you, Tommy. And I will tell you, I selected 54 because that was my son's football number in high school. So we'll keep it with the Bearcats here. I am Kim Hall, and I'm running for Cullman City Council Place 5. I appreciate you all having us and your interest in local government. I'm a lifelong resident of Cullman. I have been married to Mark Hall for 34 years. Actually, this weekend we're celebrating our anniversary. My parents, Max and Kay Townsend, have lived here and raised me and my brother here. You may know my dad. He was mayor here from 2008 to 2016. We have lived a family of service and commitment to our community. I served 30 years in public education in Cullman City Schools, and in 2022, I retired from Cullman High School, being the principal there after graduating in 1989. That was a true blessing to come back to my alma mater to lead and to serve the citizens and community members here in my own hometown. Since my retirement in 2022, I have continued to work in private business and an educational consulting company where I serve as the Director of Leadership Development, where I travel from South Florida to Nebraska to Kentucky to Massachusetts, helping leaders in their own schools and in their own community develop strategic plans, fiscal accountability, management of human resources for the betterment of their own communities. I'm excited to be with you today to share some of my ideas, and I look forward to working with those who will be serving in our elected positions. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jill Bradbury, and I am running for School Board Place 1. If you would have told me a couple years ago that I would be standing here at a political forum, I would have said, no way. I've never pictured myself being here. Back in 2023, there was an opening on the school board, and my parents were both lifelong teachers, both taught over 30 years. My children, I had a son who had just graduated from Cullman. I had twins who were going to be seniors at Cullman, and I had time in my schedule. And Cullman had been so great to my children. The schools had been fantastic, and I just knew that I wanted to give back. And honestly, I didn't know what it meant to be on the school board, so I called every person I knew on the school board. They graciously listened, and as I asked them questions, I sat down with the superintendent. I talked to him. I've realized there was something called the AASB, the Alabama Association of School Boards, and there's things we have to do to be on a school board. There's training that's required. It's a lot of work. So I wanted to make sure what I was committing to. And about a week later, I got a text and said, we need you to come to a school board meeting next week, or a meeting. And I said, oh, okay. Then I realized it was a school board meeting. And then I realized I was being sworn in. So that's how I found my way on the school board. So not a path that I planned, but it is definitely a plan that has worked out. I enjoy being on the school board. To me, I see it as a service. It's a service back to my community. That's how I was raised. I was raised by two public servants. My parents, if you know my parents, and I know a lot of you do, they're still out volunteering, whether it be through their church or community organizations. And that's just how I grew up. So that is my reason for serving. I want nothing more than the best for the students, the teachers, and the community of Cullman.
Good evening. My name's Jason Willoughby. I'm running for City Council Place 3. I've lived here my whole life. Never thought I'd be doing this either. Graduated in 1989 with Kim. Knocked on a door about a week ago with another fellow graduate, and spoke and went across the street, knocked on the next door, and when coming out, she came back out and said, "Did you ever think in 1989 that you would be running for City Council?" I said, not only did I not think it, nobody in the school thought it either. But anyway, I would like to serve also. I own a business called Equipment Logistics. We sell commercial flatbed trailers. We work on them for the public. We sell new Fontaines. We sell new Dorseys. We do repairs on big trucks, commercial tractor trailers. And
we've worked on infrastructure. We've been in business 25 years, and we've worked on the infrastructure of that business, getting it to where we can grow it. And I believe that Cullman is at a crossroads of being able to grow anymore. We're going to grow whether we're prepared for it or not. And a few years ago, I saw some things that I thought I could direct a little bit differently that would allow us to continue to grow and maybe grow a different way. Anyway, appreciate y'all having me here tonight. Look forward to discussing the issues with the rest of you people. Thank you very much.
I'm Matthew Glover. I am the Democrat nominee for State House District 12. I was born and raised here in Cullman County. I've never lived a day outside of the Cullman County line. Graduated from Good Hope in 2002. Went on to Wallace State for 2 years. I was elected to the Good Hope City Council in 2012. That's where a lot of my drive to serve came from, or was just made stronger, I guess is a better way to put it. One of the big things that I found working on the Good Hope City Council is the amount of power that the state of Alabama withholds from local communities and towns. One of my biggest issues going forward in this election is returning power to the citizens and local municipalities and cities. Example of that would be the annexation bill that was passed into law several months ago, taking away the right of the people to vote on that, as well as the county commission. One of my biggest issues is direct citizen initiatives so that citizens in the state of Alabama can put bills forward to a direct vote to amend the Constitution rather than having to go through Montgomery and all the special interests that are involved there. I feel like if we trust the citizens to elect us to office, that we should also trust their voice when it comes to making decisions for themselves. Also, vehemently against the hemp law that was passed. I believe it should be completely repealed and we should start over from scratch. It was a bad bill. It was written terribly. If you go and look at it, it's hard to read. So those are two of my biggest campaign issues. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you guys for allowing us to be here. We really appreciate it. My name is Amy Carter. I'm running for re-election for seat 5 on the Cullman City Board of Education. I currently serve as the president of the Board of Education. I've served for 5 years, and like Jill. Okay, start over or start now? Yeah, start over. Oh, start over? We want to make sure everybody. Okay. My name is Amy Carter. I'm running for seat 5 on the Cullman City Board of Education. I currently serve as the president of the Board of Education and have served as president 2 years in my 5-year term. The reason I ran is, I guess about 6 years ago, I started talking to some fellow board members that I knew were going to come off the board, and I knew that we had a need in our city to build schools, to accommodate growth and safety and those concerns, and improve technology and give kids an opportunity to have a leg up when they graduate with us. So I decided to run then, and that's why I'm still running again. And as Jill said, school board is a true service, and I'm thankful to have been here, and I'm glad to run again, and that's me. Thank you.
I'm glad she lowered this, so maybe that's okay for me. Thank you, Live 95.5, for hosting this event tonight. I'm Cheryl Harrison, your candidate for re-election to Cullman City School Board, Place 3. I'm a Cullman girl, 5th generation parent to raise their children in this community. My husband and I both graduated from Cullman High School along with our 2 children, as we just took our son off to college. We love our community. We are committed and investing into making it a better place to learn and to grow. I want to thank our community of supporters for standing with me over the past 5 years as I have begun this service on the school board, and I remain completely and deeply committed to the success of our students in our schools. Every decision that we've made as a board has been guided by one question, and that is what's best for our students. Together as a board, we've made real progress, raising academic achievement, investing in student safety, modernizing facilities, and supporting our amazing educators with the knowledge that great teaching is at the heart of great learning. But we know there's so much more to do. To this board, I bring experience, dedication, and a collaborative spirit. I listen and lead with integrity, and I'm committed to finding solutions for our schools by working together, not tearing apart, building up, unifying. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. I look forward to tonight's conversations and really to continuing the work to help the students of our community thrive and succeed. Thank you.
And thank you. Is that? Okay, thank you. I want to thank you all for having us here tonight and giving us the opportunity for some good understandings of our government and our city schools as we move forward. I'm Jenny Folsom. I'm running for re-election for the City Council, Place 5. I'm currently serving and have served several terms on the City Council and now as our council president. I was born, raised here in Cullman, started at East Elementary and graduated from Cullman High School. From there, I went on to Auburn University for my bachelor's in education, later UAB for my master's, and then finished with my doctorate from the University of Alabama in administration of higher education. As you may learn from that, I spent my entire working career in education. I was started here, right here in Cullman County, teaching 6th grade at West Point Elementary, and finished my last 22 years at Wallace State, where I was vice president and dean of academic affairs. While I was still working at Wallace State, my late husband Jack passed away, and I was looking, for something else. I served on a lot of boards here in Cullman and done a lot of volunteer work, but I was looking for a little something more interesting for a community that helped raise me. And so I ran for Cullman City Council and was elected, and then later, several years later, retired from my full-time position at Wallace. Cullman is thriving. We're strong. And if you've been around Cullman for the last 10 years, I think you've seen a lot of the improvements. There have been tough times and challenging times, and I look forward to both. I want to continue to be committed every single day to make Cullman better, just for the people that live here who make it so great. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Johnny Cook. I'm running for City Council Place 3. I want to thank y'all for having us here again, just like everyone else has. And my drive for re-election is simply dedication to community service. I serve in several fields. Deacon at my church. I serve on the Foundry Farm. Been at my job at Premier Bank for 30 years, and community service is a big part of life there. What I'm most proud of, and the reason I want to run, is I've got a wife of 42 years, 3 children, and 8 grandchildren that all live here, came back home here to make this their home. That's what I want to continue to do for the young people of Cullman, bringing it forward, using your tax dollars that you've already sent to Washington, D.C. and to Montgomery through our relationships and our experience, and bring it back here and put it to use for you. That's what I want to do. And there are several projects that are in the works now through those grants. And so I humbly ask for your vote, and if my heart's in it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brad Smith. I currently serve on Place 1 as City Council. I appreciate you guys having us here tonight like everyone else. I was born and raised in Cullman, Alabama. I've lived here most of my life, moved away for a short time during college, went to the University of Alabama, and then to Nashville for work for a little bit, moved back. My wife Cheryl and I have two boys. One's a senior, another an 8th grader. Kind of seems impossible, but it is here, and we're having to deal with that. But we're proud to raise our kids here. Just glad to be a part of the community. My service started 3 years ago in 22 when I took over after the legendary Coach Andy Page passed away. I was appointed, and I've been really humbled by the response that I received when I was appointed. Went straight to work. I've done a lot with the Public Safety Division. Really proud of the work we've been able to accomplish working with our two chiefs, Public Safety Director, and our dispatch office for upgrades, higher pay, things of that nature that we'll certainly get into later. But I appreciate you guys having me, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm David Moss, Jr. I'm Cullman City Council, Place 2. I'm running for re-election, Cullman City Council, Place 2. I'm from Cullman. My wife was from Cullman. 2 of my 3 children and 2 of my 3 grandchildren live in Cullman, so I have a vested interest in the future of our great town. I'm proud of our town. I'm proud of what we've accomplished since I've been on the City Council, and I look forward to continuing with those successes. Thank you.
Thank you all for your introductions and again for being here tonight. It's time to move on to our candidate questions. These questions have been sourced from the public and from topics that we have seen take interest of members throughout our community. And these questions, again, have been selected from the public and from things that we've seen in the community. If they do not directly affect your particular position, you can relate that to your position. We're going to ask one question, and then each candidate will answer the same question. And so as we move forward with the forum, tonight's first question is from Jay Fuller.
Thank you again for everyone participating, inviting everybody to come. We greatly appreciate you all attending with us. I would like to recognize Beverly Little. She put most of this together, but she had a medical emergency, was not able to make it tonight. Wish that she were able to help ask some of the questions. As Tommy said, most of these questions have come from the general public, or some questions that we have seen in various places. I will also say that some of the questions we have marked school board, some of the questions we have marked general city council. There are at least 2 school board questions, but the school board members, if the question doesn't pertain to you, you don't necessarily have to come address it. The last thing I would like to say is when you do come up to the microphone to answer your question, please go ahead and state your name and the place that you're running for again. That will give our folks for the TV long enough to put up a name title to identify you as you are on TV as well. Question 1 pertains to roads and infrastructure. Roads and infrastructure are often cited as some of our citizens' largest complaints. We know the city has brought most street paving in-house, or at least that's what we understand, and therefore seem to be paving more roads. Some improvement has been realized in recent years. Can you tell us a time frame for continuing to work on the rest of the roads to get them in better shape? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as you mentioned, we are hearing an overwhelming concern about infrastructure and roads in our community. And I think that's mostly in relation to traffic and the traffic flow. Cullman is a major hub directly located between Huntsville and Birmingham. A lot of people have chosen to move and to live here. We have seen growth after economic trends from everything from natural disasters to recession of 08 and 09. But with the growing economy post-COVID, you're seeing more and more people grow in and move into Cullman. Infrastructure is not just about roads and traffic. It is about streets and sewer and sanitation and public safety and education and health. And so as a council, I propose that we do a study of all of those areas. I know a lot of improvements have been made to the infrastructure, including purchasing the landfill, sanitation and wastewater. Those are in good shape. But as we look, I propose we do a study of traffic routes. We have to work with ALDOT. We have major thoroughfares running right through our city. So there's not a lot that the city government can do in those areas to change traffic when we have to work with ALDOT. But I would propose that we look at a study of that we look for alternate routes, that we continue to educate our community on what those alternate routes may be. We've had various traffic flow around the primary school to alleviate some of that traffic that we always experienced between the high school and the middle school and the primary school. So I would propose that we continue to do that, and infrastructure also including that broadband, especially in the business and economic and entertainment district, so that our citizens and business owners have access to high quality broadband, health care, education, traffic, and overall infrastructure in our community. Thank you.
Well, when it comes to roads, it's kind of a soft toss, as I've said in another interview. The roads have been in bad shape for a long time, and we do seem to pave. I think they're saying that there's a season that we have to use to pave, but we pave and then we stop, and nobody really knows the rhyme or reason why we stop on one block and don't continue on. I think we ought to get in a line and go. And we see posts when someone's street's being paved, and they put it out that they're doing cartwheels, that they finally got their street paved, and then 2 blocks over, these people are wondering why that theirs hasn't been paved. But we've kind of been the citizens and the government have kind of really divided, and people they've stopped engaging. They don't know where to turn for answers. And I would like to bring the citizens and the government back together. The government, they're over in this world, and the citizens are in this world, and the citizens know it. I get the calls, and I think we can do a lot better job with our taxpayers that are paying the officials, and do much better with the relationship building between those. Another thing about infrastructure is yes, there's roads, and like I said, that's a soft toss, but housing. Housing is a type of infrastructure. These high-density R4 housing neighborhoods that are going up everywhere was really the main reason that I decided to run. I just don't think it's healthy for the community to continue on with this. We can do better. We can look at we have Canterbury Gardens. We have some nice retirement type places.
We'd like to remind everybody, please state your name for the TV when you come up.
I'm Matthew Glover, State House District 12. When it comes to infrastructure, one thing that's been a big topic for me is the state recently changed the rules on how much weight you can carry per axle when it comes to industrial vehicles. ALDOT themselves have said that they think that will likely lead to road deterioration 25 to 30% sooner. That's not great for the state system, but it's especially bad for local cities and communities that will be forced to repave the roads much sooner, which will likely push off infrastructure such as bridge replacement and the less traveled county roads in the rural communities. So I think that it would be fair to ask the companies taking advantage of that new law to pay a small fee to cover the difference between the deterioration of the road from what it would have been previously. That way we won't have as many roadblocks in the way of getting the rural communities help with the repaving, and specifically bridges, because we have tons of bridges in District 12 and in Cullman County that need to be replaced. Also, I agree the broadband internet is a huge part of infrastructure. We need to make sure that we can get it to every house and business that wants it, and really you need it at this point just to live your everyday life. Also, infrastructure includes sewer systems as well. When I was on the Good Hope City Council, we were very proactive in running the sewage line to the new 222 exit off of I-65. That made a huge difference in attracting new business right from the jump. We didn't have to wait because they didn't have a sewage line to hook to. It was already there and ready for them. And one other thing, the state has passed new incentives to get work sites ready, have them with power, electric, and broadband before companies move in, which would cut a lot of red tape and make it a lot quicker to open new businesses within the state of Alabama. Thank you.
I'm Jenny. It's hard to get it going. I'm Jenny Foltz. I'm running for City Council Place 5. In mentioning the roads and streets, this is something that we have been working on. It may not seem like it, but we have been working diligently on it. Beginning about 4 years ago, we hired an in-house engineer who goes out to assess all of the streets and all of the neighborhoods, and that has helped to have reasons why we are paving where we pave. We've also, in recent years, the last 4 or 5 years, paved neighborhoods at a time. I know Carroll Acres, the entire neighborhood was paved. Recently, Larkwood, that hadn't been paved in over 20 years, it was paved. The Woodland Heights area was paved. We have committed this past year, and we have spent locally $10 million on paving in-house in the city. You may think it's a common joke. At election time, they start paving the streets. Paving can only be done in the late spring, and we had a wet spring. Summer is the paving season on into October, November, when it gets too cold. I think it's below 50 degrees. At night, they can't pave. It doesn't work. We've also done a lot in trying to leverage funds. Roads and streets are very, very expensive. The recent few years ago, Highway 157 completion cost almost $15 million for basically a 3-mile strip. And it already had the bridges. The bridges were already there. People called them the bridges to nowhere. But if those had not been there, we could not have received the money. Working with the federal Congressman Adderholt and our delegation in Washington and our state Department of Transportation, we were able to leverage $13 million of that from them. We also did the same thing with the Eva Road Bridge a few years ago and the Larkwood Bridge. Both of those, thank you.
Good evening again. I'm Johnny Cook, running for City Council Place 3. As far as the roads go and the infrastructure, roads, there's been a slight increase in the amount of money we spend on roads. In 2008, the road budget paving was $500,000. As Ms. Folsom just mentioned, this year it's closing in on $10 million. And as she said, every season of paving comes from the spring to the fall, right at November. That just happens to fall during election season. The other infrastructure things that we've done to save the citizens of Cullman and Cullman County money is purchasing the landfill. If you've ever visited or been where it's a for-profit sanitation collection, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very expensive, and they do it like and how and when they want to. We've secured a place for the next 100 years for your sanitation, infrastructure, water, Duck River. We have secured water, drinking water, for all the citizens of Cullman for the next 100 years. Paving's just a small part. There's a method to the madness. There's a grading of the roads, and that's the reason that one road might get paved, and then we go to another one that's falling apart much worse. If we can pave a whole neighborhood, we pave a whole neighborhood. but it depends on the grade of the roads. Thank you.
Brad Smith, Cullman City Council, Place 1. Yes, roads are obviously always a hot topic no matter where you live. Everybody that lives on the street wants their road paved before the next. We get it. Roads, my biggest issue with that is, and I think what we've done a good job of, is when we go into roads, we're not just paving on top of more pavement. We're going to look at the utilities underneath. We've able to get grant money for things like this, where we're being good stewards of our money and not just, paving over paving. So we have to take up a road, we go in, we fix the sewer, we fix the water, things like that. That way we're not taking up new pavement that we put down. We've also do a different type of paving where you do like a full reclamation, where we're just not adding, asphalt over asphalt. So you grind that up, take it all the way down, it lasts a lot longer. Yes, unfortunately, we do work within the confines of a budget, so we're not able to take a road all the way from one end to the other sometimes. So, as Mr. Cook says, we do have to look at things and take the roads graded as they are. We understand it can be frustrating at times, but I assure you we're doing everything in our power to make sure that the most volatile come first, and as we move around, things will continue to get better. And I appreciate it.
David Moss, City Council Place 2. One of the things that you said to start with, I want to kind of clarify. We did buy equipment and we are able to pave, but we still contract out a great deal of it with Wiregrass. So we use a combination. If it's a bigger project and the longer stretches, it's more economical to use the companies that are that do that all the time. But if it's a smaller road, side roads, or if they're not available, then we have the equipment to do that too. One of the things that's going on now and has been going on for a while is, as we're repaving, we're not, as Brad said, we're not just slapping more asphalt down. We're in a lot of cases digging up, replacing decades old pipes. If you think about how old Cullman is, we've got a lot of buried pipes that are getting near their limit in time, and so that slows down some of the projects, but it needs to be done. And so, like right now downtown, where you're by Cross Creek, not Cross Creek, what's it called, Cotton Creek. You'll see the roads all torn up. That's because they're replacing a lot of things under. That'll benefit us for the next 40, 50 years. So, and then it's one major project that's been in the works for several years, and we're getting close on, is the expansion of 278 going to the bridge and the replacement of the St. Bernard Bridge. We're very close to having that funding and that project underway, and I hope to see that happen in the next term, or at least get started. So, thank you.
This is a follow-up to that question. I would like to ask everyone's cooperation. Let's try to keep the answers. This is more of a yes-no question, but if you have an explanation to go along with it, maybe a minute or less, because we've already gone through half of our hour. A member of the Economic Development has recently shared details on the tax breakout from sales tax on social media. Out of $100 million, and the TV station, y'all have got a graphic for this, and y'all can watch this later. Out of $100 million in taxable sales, 9% is sales tax. $9 million out of $100 million. It's shocking to learn that only $150,000 of that $9 million in sales tax goes to county roads. I realize most of you are with the city, but I know y'all also talk to each other. Clearly, the constituents want more attention given to roads, knowing that there's also a gas tax involved here. One would think that $150,000 would not go very far towards repairing roads. Would you consider working with one another and other elected officials to make more money available to repair our roads? Thank you.
Yes, I would consider working with all entities to make sure that we're taking care of the citizens of Cullman as the Cullman City Council Place 5. Cullman City Council Place 5, Kim Hall. Thank you. Yes, I would want to work with all entities to make sure that we are providing for our citizens. Although I would be elected to serve the citizens of Cullman, I think it's critical to work as a team with our Cullman County Commission, with our local delegation, and our delegation in Washington to ensure that all of our citizens are well taken care of.
Jason Willoughby, I'm running for Cullman City Council, Place 3. And of course, we would like to work with the county more. I think more complaints are in the county than there are the city. And if there is a way to do that without raising taxes, I'm not sure which direction we could get that from, but the 9% is pretty high, and we'd have an uphill battle getting that approved with the citizens. But of course, we would all like to work with the county more. And we drive in the county. We all drive in the county also. Their roads are in dire need also. Thank you.
Matthew Glover, State House District 12. I would say broadly, yeah, I would be willing to talk to anyone, especially here in the county and the city, when it comes to making decisions, and always open to new sources of revenue. I think the citizens seem to have a lot of backlash against the gas tax. I think that should be put to a citizen vote and let them make a decision for themselves, whether they want to spend the money to improve the roads or if they don't. I also believe that other revenue streams should be looked at as well, such as like sports gambling, a lottery, which I'd prefer to go to education, but there's many options out there that we could look into, and I'd be open to hearing all of them. Thanks.
Thank you. Jenny Folsom, City Council, Place 5. I think the question is aimed more at the county than the city on this, but about the gasoline tax. But we have a lot of partnerships already with Cullman County, and we have great partnerships with our delegation in Montgomery and also in Washington. I am thinking, though, right now with our tax structure, since I've been on the city council a long time, the city has not raised any local city taxes. I would look at that first to keep it that way, but if there are other ways to leverage it, I would be happy to partner with all of the above that I named. Thank you.
Johnny Cook, Cullman City Council, Place 3. And yes, we work with the county on many projects, and we work with them on road projects. 26th Street, we partnered with them to get that paved because it's not all in the city. Part of it's in the county. Part of Welty Road, there was an issue there where Welty and Bolte Road, where Bolte Road goes into the Welty Road, the hill. We just partnered with the county to fix that from some heavy trucks going through. There's been several road projects that we have already partnered with them, and we will continue to partner with them where we can. Thank you.
Brad Smith, Cullman City Council, Place 1. Short answer is yes, well, and we do. So we currently have a good relationship with the county. Our law enforcement works together with the deputies and the sheriff. We partner together with economic development projects. We partner together on road projects. We're very open and speak to the county quite a bit. So yes, we would love to continue that relationship.
David Moss, Place 2, City Council. The question pertains to the roads in the county, I guess more than the city. Obviously, our responsibility is the city, but we do work closely with the county on a lot of things. I'm not envious of their situation because they have so many miles of roads to pave, and it's quite a challenge, and I understand that. What we can do is when we have the opportunities to work with them, as they mentioned on some projects, we've been willing to do that. I do think, not necessarily just on roads, but I do think for our community to continue to grow and thrive, we need to work together more on a lot of things. I think that's one of the long-term goals that I have as city county. we did a great thing with the landfill. We've had some really good successes at the airport working together. So you're starting to see more opportunities to work together. I don't like the whole what's good for the city is bad for the county and what's good for the county is bad for the city mentality that exists. And I think one of the goals should be and is to improve that working relationship. Thank you.
Moving on to the topic of growth. Cullman continues to add jobs and industry to our area. Additionally, our schools are growing in size, with strategic planning seemingly happening in advance of that growth to stay ahead of the current needs. As we continue to bring in more industry and economic development, elaborate on your plan to help manage this growth as it happens.
Thank you, Kim Hall, Cullman City Council, Place 5. Yes, growth is inevitable, and it is affecting everything in our community, from our schools to our other infrastructure areas. As far as planning for that growth, strategic planning is critical, not only in the school, but in city government. I would propose, and I think there is already some work being done on a strategic plan, but I would propose a strategic plan for the city government and for each department within city government, so that all of the plans align towards the overall strategic plan. That plan should have input from citizens. It should be based on data. It should have measurable goals and objectives so that we can monitor our progress, so that we can evaluate and adjust, and so that we can continue to plan for the future, not only for the next 5 years, but that we use that strategic plan continually over and over to adjust to meet the needs of our citizens.
Jill Bradbury, Cullman City School Board, Place 1, and I will speak to from the standpoint of the school board and infrastructure and growth. The school board, we entered into a strategic plan several years ago, and part of that strategic plan was building new schools. This was something that had needed to be done probably for a long time, and this school board, like I said, I joined in 2023, and a lot of this was already on the map. But right now, I know everyone knows Cullman Middle School. We have expanded there. I know that does come with some growth and some pains, but I promise it will be worth it when we're finished. We are currently working to expand West Elementary campus to merge East and West Elementary into the Cullman Intermediate School. We did construction at Cullman Primary School, where we added the second grade from East and West to primary school. And then we also have a CTE wing that we're developing now at the high school that will also be used for career tech. So I feel from a school board standpoint, there is more to be done, and that is one reason that I want to continue to serve on the board. I would like to see these projects through, but through our strategic plan, that is what we have been doing to address the growth in our school system.
Jason Willoughby, candidate for City Council, Place 3. The growth is going to continue to come. The Southeast is going to continue to have migration here, and that's great. We're glad that people want to live here and move here and raise their families here. Everybody has to understand that the traffic is coming, and there's going to be more and more yearly as we grow. We've got to have a solution. I understand that we've secured some money to complete the bridge and all on 278, and that's great. We need that. It's unsafe. We all see the line going out, coming in the mornings, trying to get into town from east. I believe we need, and there's been talk 30 years ago about a southern type bypass, truck route, 157 connection, whatever we want to call it. Cullman is very important to these politicians. Tommy Tuberville, if he becomes the governor, and I believe that he will, he comes to Cullman and visits, and he cares about us, his relationship with the federal. I think we're in a great position to ask for some big-time help. We're going to have it. As far as the growth, I think that we should look into a city planner. There's cause and effects of everything that we do. I think we need to hire educated people to help us plan our future for Cullman in the way of city planner. We had one at one time. I'm not sure what happened, why we don't have one now, but I really think that that's an important part of the puzzle for our future growth. Thank you.
Matthew Glover, State House, District 12. If I were to be elected, I would definitely be working with the Cullman City Council, the Cullman County Commission, and various other city and town councils to help bring funding to them, whether it be from grants or through federal and state funding. I think it's very important to listen to the communities and take in what they need from you, rather than a one-size-fits-all type solution, which often happens. Usually, you get money dedicated to certain things. I think that city councils and the county commission especially know what's best for them when it comes to what needs to be repaired. Broadband is another issue going forward. Like I mentioned, we definitely need to make sure our most rural communities are covered when it comes to that. Infrastructure-wise, I didn't mention earlier, I'd like most everyone here, I'm sure, is for I-65 being expanded to 3 lanes all the way to the Tennessee state line. I'd prefer they started on the south end and worked their way north, because that would help us more. But any way we could get that done would be phenomenal. As far as education, I think we need I'm for an education lottery that would provide 2 years of tuition to both junior colleges and technical schools. I believe that the future is so much more in automation that we need to prepare students for that future so that we're not lacking in available labor for new industry. Also, expand the shovel-ready type locations for business so we can attract them quicker. Thank you.
Amy Carter, excuse me, Place 5, Cullman City Board of Education. If you go in the superintendent's office at any time during the day, there's a blackboard that's got the census of every single grade coming up through the school system. And we keep our pulse on that every year to know if you ask him right now, he tells you how many kids are in every single grade, what the growth is, what the trends look like. Because not only does that affect what we do in our schools, that affects our funding. And so we have to budget with that, knowing that maybe the second grade is a lot smaller this year, but third grade's bigger. That's the way that we kind of look at how we put teachers in there, but that's also how we maintain our budget. So if you look across the town, I know if you drive around, we talk about the growing pains, but if you look, we have added 14 classrooms to the primary school, along with an amazing lunchroom and gym that they never had at the primary school that was great for kids to play. But also at the middle school, not only are we adding classrooms to the middle school, but we're adding a state-of-the-art band room for the theater, for the kids in theater and in the art, and also a state-of-the-art ag center for those kids to get a leg up on when they start career tech at the high school. At the high school now, we are investing in a STEM unit, about $10 million, and that's going to have full-on automotive, medical, and those are for those kids that not every kid's going to go to college straight out of school or to the military. And so when we talk about industry and the industry that comes into this town, those are the workers they want. Those kids that are getting trained like that in high school that are ready to go to work as soon as they graduate, they are thrilled with that, and they are thrilled to partner with us on those. And then the last thing is, if you notice on the west side of town that we're investing $30 million in a brand new intermediate school that's going to house all of the kids from East and West Elementary. We felt like this was a need. When we came on the board, we felt like we had a system of schools and not a school system, and we needed to combine those kids, and felt like that those kids being separated from 3rd to 6th grade was detrimental to the kids overall when they got together in middle school. So those are the things we're doing, and I just want to continue. In 4 years, I think most of those will be done, and then I'm sure we'll uncover new things to do. So that's why I'm running again, is to finish these projects that we started.
Cheryl Harrison, Cullman City School Board, Place 3. As Jill and Amy both mentioned, all of these great projects that we have gotten started with, but I want to remind everybody, 5 years ago, when I was running for this position, we were doing none of them. None of them. We came on board and we were very ambitious. We had lofty goals. And they said, others told us, you can do one project. You can do that primary school project. And we said, well, we really need to do that middle school project for a different reason. We needed to move those second graders for curriculum. We needed to improve the safety at that middle school. We needed to move the sixth graders back to that middle school. With the help from the city and their investment into the schools, with the growth of this community and our ad valorem and our sales tax, we have been able to do that. We are doing it. We don't have kids in trailers. We do have a construction site. Yes, we do. And I know that poses a great challenge for teachers. And my heart it breaks for them in those moments of despair and just frustration from all the noise or dust or whatever. But it is temporary. And we will have state-of-the-art facilities for these children, not just now, but in the future. Kids are building robots. That old gym at West Elementary, which will be our brand new intermediate school, that gym will be dedicated to STEM education. Those kids are building robots. Our kids in high school are learning modern manufacturing, cybersecurity. We're not only planning for growth in our schools, we're planning for growth in our students, in their lives now, in their lives in the future, for our community. So I'm very proud of those things that we've been able to accomplish with the help of our great community. And we do things best when we're on the same page and we work together. Thank you.
Jenny Folsom, running for City Council, Place 5. Up until about 6 or 7 years ago, we had a planning process with all of our departments in the city, but that was usually just year to year combined with the budgeting when we brought them together for what the needs for and wants for the following year. About 6 or 7, I think 7 years ago, we talked about a strategic plan, a formalized strategic plan, which was developed, brought in an outside consultant, and did an excellent job, as well as the department heads, city employees, the mayor and the council were involved, community leaders from the school system, the hospital, business leaders all came together with a lot of input. I think it took us about 3 to 4 months to complete it, but that was completed. It was basically on a 5-year cycle, and we looked for 5 years down the road. This was implemented, and we updated it yearly within that 5 years as part of our planning process for budgeting, bringing department heads together through their employees to talk about all the needs, the wants, goals they had accomplished the past year, what they intended to accomplish this coming year, and what resources, whether it be personnel or equipment, they needed to do those goals. But we also asked them to look for year 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that was completed. Just this past winter, we came back again to relook at our 5-year plan. From the first one, overwhelmingly, it was shortage of housing. We immediately got to work on that, and I think we have tried to accomplish a lot of affordable housing or whatever the need for housing, multi-level housing in our community. But we just this past winter, we started the second year of our 5-year cycle. We came back together, and as we've mentioned earlier, one of the biggest topics that came out of this second year of our 5-year strategic year, second cycle of the 5-year strategic plan is infrastructure, traffic, and also community involvement and partnerships with the county. Thank you.
Staying on the topic of growth, Cullman continues to add jobs and industry to our area. Additional schools are growing in size. Can you go over the elaborate on your city plan of industry?
As Ms. Folsom mentioned, we are in the second cycle of a 5-year plan to handle the growth for the infrastructure, traffic, and we partnered with the schools. And one of the reasons we partnered with the schools with the funding to expand them is because they came with a solid plan. That was the first solid plan we ever had. Now, as far as the housing market goes, everybody wants jobs. Everybody wants higher paying jobs. We've brought industry in here to bring higher paying jobs. To go along with that, you have to have housing. With the housing, you've got to have places for them to eat, to shop, to worship, to play. So we've created that. And with these higher paying jobs in these industries, it brings in some outside people to live here. And yes, it does cause some traffic congestion, but I'd rather have people complaining a little bit about traffic than not having a job, not having a place to eat, not having an affordable house. Now, we're addressing the housing market now and looking to change our housing strategic plan to a different model. Thank you.
Brad Smith, Cullman City Council, Place 1. I actually grew up in economic development. My mother, Peggy Smith, was the economic development director for 30 plus years. So I certainly understand growth and everything that comes with that. Many years ago, before the Toperays, the Utakas, the Toperay, Utaka, Royal, excuse me, thank you, Johnny. Most all those she brought in. And so with that, there comes some tension with that. Some people don't want those, and that's just kind of part of the deal. But we grew the right way then. I feel like we're growing the right way now. I take it as a huge compliment for this council that people want to move here and that they want to be a part of this community and things that we've created, and many before me, and such as my mom. And I'm happy to carry on that legacy. Could we do it the right way? We can, and I believe we're taking steps to do that. As Mr. Cook says, we've taken a look at our strategic plan that we put together, and we're taking action towards housing. So I really am impressed and glad to be a part of the growth that has happened. I feel like we continue to move that needle in the right way without overstepping. And thank you.
David Moss, City Council, Place 2. So with regards to growth in Cullman, Cullman's been growing for decades, really going back to the flying 50s when there was no industry, and some very bright and ambitious leaders put together a plan and really kicked off a move towards industry in town. So for most of that time, growth was about Peggy and our great economic development team trying to recruit new industry, bring new jobs, better jobs. But we've reached a point now, and since I've been on the council, where we don't need as many new industries. We need to support the industries we have because the workforce challenges have become more real. And also there's not as much room to expand and continue to grow. So what we've done since I've been on the council is way more selective in the recruiting of new industry, way more focus on supporting our existing industry and keeping our existing industry and giving them the tools with the workforce, way more selective in some other areas as well. So I think you'll see the growth in Cullman will continue, but probably at a slower pace because of the geographic, we just don't have the room to grow, and because we don't have the workforce to keep bringing in more industry. Thank you.
Well, we have been here an hour, as we discussed before the forum began. I do want to give anyone who would like to depart a chance to do a closing statement now. I would like to keep you a little bit longer, 30 minutes if at all possible. We've only been through 3 questions. I have selected 3 more. I brought 15 questions tonight, And I love some of your responses because you've hit on so many of the other questions that we have. I'd love to have you for 4 hours, but I'm thankful to have you for the hour that we've had you. If anybody does need to leave and would like to do a closing statement, please do it now. Otherwise, we'll ask a couple more questions. Okay. Closing statement or next question? Okay. Okay. You need to do a closing statement? Okay. Two more questions because I definitely have to ask you the last one. Okay. It's a doozy. Okay, hang on. Y'all prepare yourselves. It's even marked school board, so this will be good. National media has recently started reporting on the future development of artificial intelligence. This is projected to replace a large number of jobs within 5 years, potentially sooner. These developments include disruption now from applications such as ChatGPT, which are reported to be replacing entry-level jobs. Other reports state robots made by companies like Tesla can combine with artificial intelligence of ChatGPT, or in the case of Tesla, that would be Grok, to make robots plus AI. Some projections from researchers say jobs could be obsolete very soon. That being said, this could seriously impact mental health, employment, the tax revenue, basically everything. How can you work with our community to meet this challenge? Good luck.
Wow, that's a tough one. So yeah, I'm very aware of the challenges with AI and the things that you mentioned, that potentially how it could disrupt the workforce, how it could change our lives in ways that we really have never imagined. One thing that makes Cullman, I think our track record in staying ahead of other communities, I won't say the competition, but Cullman's got a track record of responding, and whether it's the education system, whether it's the industries we brought in. So I would imagine that as this unfolds, we will be challenged as a city, as schools, as business, city leaders. But we will welcome that challenge, and maybe not welcome it, but we will respond to that challenge, and I think we'll fare well. So, thank you.
The FCC requires me to say you're listening to WRJM-LP Cullman.
Brad Smith, Cullman City Council, Place 1. AI is initially, when you look at it, it looks like a very scary thing, and I think it's very powerful. So I think the best solution to that is to educate yourself on it. As a council, as a school board, let's make this thing work for us in there to help us, basically to help with government. There's things, it's crazy the amount of things. I've messed with it just a little bit, questions, answers, things like that. The information it can provide really quickly is very impressive. So I think it's best for someone in our situation, no matter who's on council or school board, to get ahead of the curve, learn what AI can do to help you. As far as our workforce, we already have, in some of our industries, we have robots that are working for them now. Not necessarily maybe a Tesla robot, but we certainly have robotics within our industry, and they help our folks do the job. Exactly that word, help. They do not replace them. When Walmart distribution added on recently, they added robotics, and if memory serves me correct, no jobs were lost. So there is a place for them. I'm not sure if there's going to be a complete AI takeover. That would probably be something for somebody much smarter than I. But I think the biggest issue for us would be to educate ourselves on it and learn how we could use it to our advantage. But as far as replacing people in our community, no, that is not a concern of mine. Thank you.
AI, it's a thing of the future. It's here, but it's a thing of the future. As Mr. Smith mentioned, there's robots everywhere, but there's people running those robots. As he said, Walmart didn't lose any jobs. They may have even created jobs because they have to have technicians to work on those robots. And so every manufacturing plant around here has robots in it, but they have to have people to work them. And you can't replace skilled labor with a robot. Bricklayers. I know they've got concrete, they build concrete houses with robots where it pours it and it lays it out and all, but there's got to be somebody that designs it and sees after it, makes sure the concrete's in there and runs that robot. So I think that it will just create a different type of job for the future. Thank you.
Jenny Folsom, City Council, Place 5. I think we will get used to this like we have everything else that has happened throughout for decades. I think our school systems are already preparing for this with the STEM programs that you're developing. Also, the jewel that we have with Wallace State Community College, they are teaching all of these needed jobs that weren't even we thought of years ago, and now they're going to be part of our everyday life. I think we will educate ourselves, and as usual, we'll be stronger for it, and we will deal with it in the best way we can. Thank you.
Cheryl Harrison, Cullman City School Board, Place 3. I really would like to have everybody just take a step back and look and consider that the men and women that are elected, particularly to this school board, will in this next term write policy concerning AI in our schools. That is a very important thing. Like Johnny said, the future is now. This is happening now. Our students are using this now. Our job in the education world, and we are going to conferences, we're learning, we're trying to keep up. But to me, it becomes strengthening and teaching the foundations that our students are going to need for critical thinking and thought, not relying on a computer initially, but getting those skills, developing those skills, and nurturing those skills as they come up through the system. And then when the time is right and they're ready, after years of STEM, which builds those critical thinking and those activities using the scientific process and all of those things help and contribute to building that knowledge base. So as they reach an age and working with our educators, working to learn best practices, really figuring out how we can best teach our children to use the technology that they're already using. How do we apply that in education? I use it in my job. It makes things a little faster, but I don't rely on it to think for me. I rely on it as a tool. It's a help. It's a help. But we, in this process, need to work together, have conversation, and really come together with a plan of action in how we will move forward in the future the best way for our students. Thank you.
Amy Carter, Place 5, Cullman City Board of Education. There was nothing simple about AI, but my answer to this question is simple. It's here. It's here, and we have to embrace it. There is, whether we like it or not, there's no putting Pandora back in the box. We started about 2 years ago in our conferences, our AASB conferences, our national conferences that we go to, starting to learn about AI. And I remember 2 years ago at one of these conferences, just 2 short years ago, we were like, there's no way it'll get there in 2 short years, and we are here. So we just feel like that we are educating ourselves, and we will, like Cheryl said, we will be, this next school board will be writing policy on AI that dictates the future of the school system and how it goes with this, because it is the future. And we feel like if we don't embrace it and we don't wrap our arms around it and learn how to do it responsibly and learn how to do it efficiently for these children, they're going to be behind when they get to college, career, wherever it is they go. They're going to be behind if we don't figure out a way to do it in a responsible manner, like you said, where it's not thinking for them, but they use it to help them. And that's the way I feel about it. And we are already working on that. We are already educating ourselves. We also learn best practices from other school systems across the country. And what have you guys done? How has it affected you? What have y'all learned from the things you've done? Because there's places like maybe California that's a little bit ahead of us than we are in Alabama. And so we seek best practices of those doing it well, and will continue to do so.
Matthew Glover, State House, District 12. I believe AI is a lot like the early days of the internet. It is growing rapidly. I think we need guardrails in place from as early as we can to make sure that things don't get out of hand, much like the internet where it was the Wild West in the beginning. I think critical thinking skills will be huge when it comes to AI. As was mentioned earlier, we can't let people just see what comes up on the screen and just accept it for fact. We're already sliding down that hole, and I think it affects a lot of people negatively, both in education and just everyday life. There's a lot of good things about AI. I know multiple municipalities who've used it for grant writing. That's a huge thing when it comes to getting money for government projects, and it's very helpful in that matter from what I've heard. I think I'm glad to hear that the automation hasn't replaced any jobs locally that we know of. I do believe that that's something that we will have to address moving forward. The losing of jobs compared to or for automation. I think there should be something in place for businesses to put some of the money they save from replacing workers into a fund to re-educate workers so they can be better suited to the future that they'll be required to know with the AI revolution. I appreciate it.
Jason Willoughby, candidate for City Council, Place 3. About the job loss, I don't know where that data is coming from. I'm a dealer rep for manufacturer Fontaine Trailer and Dorsey Trailers. Fontaine is in Haleville, Alabama, and Dorsey's in Elba, Alabama. And those areas are getting difficult to find workers, and they have robots. And I've done plant tours, and they have less people working there. There's no doubt. That's the efficiency is the reason for it, and the human resource people are bogged down with some of the details that go into some of having huge, massive 500 people working at a manufacturing plant. So that is the goal of it is to streamline manufacturing. We're a manufacturing town. It's going to be inevitable. We will lose jobs. We need to bring more in. Maybe not manufacturing jobs, maybe some tech jobs. We're so close to Huntsville, Alabama. Maybe we should look at trying to bring in some different types of jobs that robotics won't be replacing our workers. But AI, it's nothing to be scared of. It's coming. It's going to be good for this city as it is for the whole world. I'm releasing a video in the morning, and my social media tech is using AI to critique it. There's all different kinds of forms, and I believe that this city will be better for it when we learn more about it and embrace it better.
Jill Bradbury, Cullman City School Board, Place 1. I think as everyone has said, we can all agree that AI is not going anywhere. It is the future. We have to embrace it. We can't look back. I don't think we need to think of AI something as scary. More so, I view it as something exciting. I work in the financial industry, and we have been using AI tools for a couple years now to improve efficiencies and workflow within my company. And it is amazing the things that it can do. And that's what I want our students to learn, because that is what's going to be used in the workforce that they are entering. As Cheryl said, we will be drafting AI policies within the next few years for this board and for our students and our teachers. I think it's important that we know that AI is not going to take away a teacher. You cannot take away the face-to-face of a teacher and the teacher-student relationship. That's not going anywhere. But we need to use these tools, let our students use these tools, and our teachers also use these tools to increase efficiency, to be more effective. We want our students to be on the cutting edge when they go into the workforce. And so I want to be a part of the group that helps draft that AI policy for our school system. Thank you.
Kim Hall, Cullman City Council, Place 5. As many of you have said, AI is not going anywhere. It is not something that we are going to be able to respond to. We've got to be proactive. The policies in schools are critical. The way that it impacts our industry and our local government, I don't think there's anything that will not be touched by artificial intelligence. Every industry will be affected. I was at a school in Kentucky where they are actually already using artificial intelligence to conduct their teacher observations. And my first question was, well, doesn't that take the relationship out of it? Because that's so important. And the principal actually said it really opened the door for us to have honest and non-biased conversation, because the observation was done based on a scaled rubric and a video that was conducted in the classroom. So those things aren't going away. Architectural drawings will be put into artificial intelligence. You'll get a list of supplies out. It's going to affect your industries where we're making trailers and all the different things. What we've got to do is focus on repurposing jobs so that the jobs that are replaced with people who will also be able to service the technology and the robots, whether it be artificial intelligence or a robot. There was recently a Harvard study that focused on human-centric leadership, saying that the one thing artificial intelligence cannot do is that human-centric relationship element. So you asked about mental health and how artificial intelligence is going to come to play. We saw that with social media, not only the internet, but social media and cell phones. Now we've backed off on that. So we've got to be proactive to make sure that we're meeting people where they are, that we're building relationships and opportunities for connection when artificial intelligence and technology have changed their workflow. Because that connection, we are created to be in relationship and communion and fellowship with each other. So that's going to be the most important aspect going forward with artificial intelligence. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for your time and for answering the questions as openly and honestly as you can. As Jay mentioned, we had 15 questions, but don't have near that much time. So we're going to move now to our... We're going to move on to our closing statements now. Each of you will have 90 seconds for a closing statement, and David, we'll start with you, sir.
All right. I'm David Moss, Jr. I'm running for City Council Place 2 re-election. As I said earlier, I love Cullman. My family, my grandchildren will grow up here. I'm fully vested in the future of Cullman. I'm proud of what we've accomplished the last few years as I've been on the council, and I look forward to serving. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Brad Smith, Cullman City Council, Place 1. Enjoyed being on council the past 3 years and the things we've been able to accomplish. My chair is actually over public safety. And just the short 3 years that I've been on there of keeping our first responders first, we've been able to purchase fire trucks. We've set our wages to some of the highest in the state for recruitment and for retention. That goes through our fire, through our police, and through our dispatch. So we like to be a leading in that department, and I'm very proud of all the accomplishments we've had there. I would humbly ask for your vote on August 26th. Thank you.
I'm Johnny Cook, Cullman City Council, Place 3. You know, this has been a enjoyable time in my life to be able to serve the city of Cullman and in so many aspects, and to create what we have created a place that's desirable for people to live, work, worship, and play, and especially my family. And I want to keep that going to bring your families back to Cullman, to make it special as a community, a family community. So I humbly ask for your vote on August the 26th, Johnny Cook, Cullman City Council, Place 3. Thank you.
I'm Jenny Folsom, running for Cullman City Council, Place 5. I think I want to thank you for having us all tonight. I think it was a very informative discussion that we all had, and I hope the people watching this have enjoyed it and have learned a lot from us. I know I have learned a lot tonight, and I want to thank all of the people in Cullman. Serving on the City Council has been one of the greatest honors in my life. I feel like we've accomplished a lot. Cullman is strong and thriving, but we still have a lot of things to do. And I would like to be part of that, and I'm committed every day to working toward that goal. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching at home and being a part of this important conversation. It's an honor to be in this space with all of these great leaders that have such a heart for service in our community. We're very, very blessed. And I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the past 5 years on the school board, but I know our work is not quite finished. Our students and teachers will face new challenges, and they deserve a school board member who brings experience and vision to this role. I'm running to bring people together and to continue with the forward momentum. Together we can build schools that reflect the very best of who we are and who we want to be. So tonight, thank you for your time, and I would be honored to earn your support one more time as I seek re-election to Cullman City School Board, Place 3. Thank you.
Thank you guys again for having us tonight. Amy Carter, Place 5, Cullman City Board of Education. Like Cheryl said, we've come a long way, but we have a long way to go. We have higher test scores right now and rankings statewide than we've had in several years. We need to continue that positive trajectory for our students. We owe it to our students. And with that being said, I humbly ask for your support on August 26th, as Cheryl said, one more time to finish the goals that we started 5 years ago. Thank you.
Matthew Glover, District 12. I would humbly ask for your vote on October 28th. The reason I decided to run for city council to begin with, and really the way I operate in everyday life, is trying to help people as much as I can. I think people hear the word politics and it's almost like a dirty word, but in reality it really affects everyday life, and it's really just the means in which you approach everyday life for the citizenry. If I'm elected, my door will always be open to voters, citizens, the city councils of the various communities, the county commission. I want to work with everyone to do as much as we can to help the citizens of District 12, Cullman County, and the state of Alabama. I would like to see the expansion of Medicaid so we can make sure these rural hospitals stay open. Local pharmacies and local doctors' offices will be heavily affected by the cut in funding to Medicaid. I also believe that we need to have a clean education lottery on the ballot. Again, through the citizen initiative, one of my biggest goals is to bring more power to the citizens and the local communities. I believe we can do that by passing a citizen initiative to bypass all the special interest and get clean bills in front of the voters. In most instances, when things that affect their life. I'd also like to see a complete repeal of the grocery tax, as well as taxes on other hygiene and vitamin over-the-counter medicines. We appreciate your vote October 28th. Thank you.
Jason Willoughby, candidate for City Council, place 3. Started out, my motto was a common sense approach to growth. We can do some things differently, more efficiently. We all talk about our infrastructure problems. I don't think that shrinking our 100-foot right-of-ways that John G. Cullman laid out for us into 23 feet with curbs and flowers in them, that's a prime example of a common sense approach to growth. That's adding a few parking places and an engineering nightmare. We're having to drive around. You see the curbs, they got tire marks on them. They're dangerous, matter of fact. Term limits. I don't think it's healthy for our community to have people in city council and government positions for trying to be 21 years. It bypasses citizens with other ideas. It's very intimidating and hard to try to get these candidates out. And therefore, what do you have? You have one person running against that person. If candidates termed out, we may have 3 or 4 candidates running for a seat, but the citizens look at it and they think, how am I going to get that person out that's been in there that long? There is a way. Los Angeles, California, we all think they're crazy out there and hope that they don't come here, but they have 12-year term limits on their council there. There is a legislative process that has to be done, that can be done. I want to bring the community back together. Like I said, the citizens and the government seem so divided. The government thinks that there's no problems, and the citizens think that there's many problems. I hope to get elected Tuesday, August 26th, and make some changes, make some relationship changes. I sure would appreciate your vote and your consideration. Thank you.
Jill Bradbury, Place 1, Cullman City School Board. As I said when I started, I never imagined myself here, but I do see my work on the school board as a service. I try to say I'm not a politician, but apparently if you put your name on the ballot, then you become a politician. But I don't like to think of myself in that way. I like to think of myself as someone who wants to serve our community and wants to serve our schools and give back. We have accomplished so many things just since 2023 since I've been on the board. We have building projects, as we've talked about. Our AP pass rate was highest it's ever been. We now have 2 school resource officers assigned to every school. We were awarded the Attorney General Safe School Award for Cullman City Primary School. East Elementary was named a Blue Ribbon School. The governor visited our STEM camp. I could go on and on. Does that mean we're perfect? No. Does that mean that we have more places to go? Yes. And another word that's thrown around I hear a lot is transparency. We hear that. I will be completely transparent. My email address is on the school's website. I have a Facebook. When a parent community member calls me, I'll call you back. I'll sit down. I met with someone just last week who contacted me through Facebook. I want to be transparent. I don't want our citizens, our teachers, our parents, I don't want anyone to think that anything that this school board is done to be hidden from them. I want it to be open. I want us to have a dialogue. I'm always here. Like I said, I am here to serve at the pleasure of the citizens of Cullman. And I would appreciate your vote on August 26th. Thank you.
Kim Hall, Cullman City Council, Place 5. Yes, again, thank you all for having us here this evening. And I want to thank all of the candidates who have put yourselves out there to run, those who are here tonight and those who are not. Anytime you put yourself and your family in this situation, it's a grueling process. But I do think that we have had some good, healthy conversations to bring a lot of information to light for the good of our community. I propose bringing innovative leadership for Cullman's future for the next 4 years. I promise to work hard. I can't make a lot of promises, but what I can promise is what's within my power, and that I will work hard for you each and every day to serve the citizens of Cullman. And I would appreciate your vote, Kim Hall, Cullman City Council, Place 5 on August 26th.
And again, thank you to all of you candidates for coming out and sharing with us tonight. We've kept you a lot longer than we wanted to, so we're going to let you go now. Before we do, though, I do want to say thanks again to Julie Burks of the museum, to Cullman City Park and Recreation for the use of the facility, to Seth and Charles of WCQT TV and All About Cullman for putting us on television and Facebook tonight. And remember, go vote on August the 26th. For Jay Fuller, I'm Tommy Warhurst from Cullman Community Radio, Cullman's Live 95, wrapping up our Cullman Community Candidate Forum. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching.